This is the Get Busy Living podcast, episode number 68. Hello, Get Busy Living listeners from around the world. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. My name is Benny Shu, and I am your friend and host of this show. I'm really excited about today's episode because I'm going to be talking about a topic that, I think a lot of us are trying to search for. And I think a lot of us want to attain that level. But I know a lot of us approach it the wrong way. We've been led to believe that finding happiness is through doing steps A, B, and C. And if we do that, then we'll be happy. But research has recently shown that that's completely backwards. It's completely opposite. So if you've been struggling to find happiness in your life because you haven't had the success that you've been looking for, then you will really enjoy this episode today. I think when we look back at the end of our life, we just want one thing. We just want to know that we had a happy life. We want to know that we had a good life and had many, many moments of happiness. And we want happiness even more, especially when life isn't the way that we want it to be. When we feel stuck in life, or when we feel like life has gotten boring, we are searching for something else that will make us happier, because we feel like once we're happy, then everything else will be better in our life. So we think to ourselves, how do we become happy? If I asked you what would make you happy, you would probably tell me an end result that you would like. It might be a new job, a raise at your current job, maybe a new house, maybe it's making more money, getting married, having kids, or something like that. Basically, you're looking for a certain outcome, and if you have that outcome, then you would say that you would be happier. And then once you're happier, you'll finally start to do all those things that you've been wanting to do in life, like exercising, eating healthier, losing that weight you've put on the past few years, spending more time with family, traveling, or taking up a new hobby. And you feel like you can't do those things right now because your unhappiness has made you feel lazy. You're so unmotivated. You lack energy every single day. And you just think you'll get to those things one day when you feel happy, when you find happiness. And this way of thinking is extremely common because I certainly felt the same way. Feeling stuck in life, I just wanted to be happy because I hated my job. So if you asked me back then what would make me happy, I would tell you that if I found a job that I love to do and I made the same amount of money that I was at my current job, then I would be happier. And once I was happy, then finally life would feel great. And that's all I hoped for. That's all I wanted. But until I found success, until I became successful, I just kept watching TV and wasting time on the computer. I didn't have the motivation or the energy to do anything except keep my mind occupied, forget about work, forget about this crappy life that I had, and just do things that required the least amount of physical and mental energy. I came to a realization that this wasn't working. Okay. I've been trying for so long and I couldn't find the success that I wanted. And because I couldn't find the success I wanted, I still wasn't any happier in my life. I still hated what my life had become. And I felt even more stuck at this point because I was 32 years old and I was getting older and just no closer to finding success and happiness. So in late 2010, when I hit rock bottom and I typed that letter to myself, if you've listened to my podcast and been for a while, you'll know my story. And if you haven't, if this is your first time, go and to my website, getbusylivingblog.com and sign up to get that free ebook that I have called Get a Life That Doesn't Suck. And in it, I talk about that lowest point and I talk about what helped me turn it around. And about like 6 months later, there was a TED talk that I came across, and it's by a gentleman named Sean Aker, and he wrote a great book called The Happiness Advantage. Now, my memory wasn't so clear, so I thought maybe I had discovered his TED talk that led me to focus on working on myself first, instead of pursuing success. And what's great about the TED Talk and the book that Sean wrote is that a lot of what he discovered is based on research. It's not just, belief. It's actually been tested by scientists. And what he found is that happiness is the precursor to success, not merely the result. And that happiness and optimism actually fuels performance and achievement. Okay. Let me repeat that just so you really get that into your mind. Happiness is the precursor to success. It's not success leading to happiness. Our most commonly held belief for success is broken, like I said. What we believe from our parents and society states that if we work hard, we will be more successful. And if we are more successful, then we'll be happy. But based on Sean's research, and the research by other scientists in the field of positive psychology, it has been shown that this formula is actually backwards. Happiness fuels success, not the other way around. When we are positive, our brains are more engaged, creative, motivated, energetic, resilient, and more productive. After watching his TED Talk and after reading his book, I realized that this was what I was doing, which I was really glad about. This was the approach that I was taking. Instead of focusing on getting the end result that I wanted, which was making money online so I can quit my job, I focused on me first. I focused on my mindset, my attitude, my beliefs. What I didn't realize at the time was I was focusing on being more happy first so that I could finally get the results that I wanted on the outside. Now, I do want to say that being happier doesn't mean that your life is going to be perfect. Okay, you're still going to have your ups and your downs. Okay, there's still going to be things that happen to you in your life that you don't want or you don't expect. And being happier doesn't mean that you are always walking around with a smile on your face like you're the Joker for Batman. It's more about training your mind to see the positive in your life. And when you do that on a consistent basis, the result is happiness. I should say the result is more happiness, more gratitude, and more optimism. The more that you pick up on the positive around you, the better that you'll feel. Now, I know it's not easy to make yourself feel happier when everything in your life seems to not be going your way. It's not easy to be happier when you dread going to work and you dread being there even a single minute. I know it's not easy to be happy when you want a better life than what it is now, but you don't know how you're going to get there and you're no closer to having that better life. It's not easy, but you have to create a more positive mindset and mood so that you can be more motivated and therefore more successful in getting the outcomes you want. If you've ever felt like, I don't feel like doing this, I don't feel like exercising, I don't feel like making positive changes, I don't feel like eating healthier, all I want to do is just order fast food, come home, sit in front of the TV, eat my food, and go to sleep. Okay, that's all I feel like doing. If you feel like that every single day, it's going to be really hard for you to get yourself to do the things that you need to do to change. Okay, it's going to be hard for you to start to incorporate new habits. It's going to be really hard for you to see that life has so many possibilities out there for you and that you can change, that you can have a better life. It's really hard to see those things when you don't have a positive mindset. So that's what Sean really talks about in his book is different ways to create a more positive mindset. When our brains are more positive, we see the possibilities. We feel more hopeful. We are better able to find what we need to do to get started and to keep going. And we feel more motivated to do so. So I hope I've convinced you up to this point that creating a more positive mindset first will lead to happiness and therefore lead to the success that you want or to get the results that you want. So, how do you start to create a more positive mindset? Well, I'm going to share with you the things that I did. These are the things that I experienced myself that I found worked for me.